Good evening, everybody. It is forecaster Mark Spencer from Ohio News and Weather. You can't see me yet, can you? Let's do this, guys. My bad here. Let's see here if we go to here. And that did not work. Okay, give me a second here while I get this all kind of figured out. And there we go. Now you'll see me. Well, you will in a second. My bad. Okay. Had to get something set up, made one quick change, and boom, I disappear, right? Okay, cool. Forecaster Mark Spencer from Ohio News and Weather. Good evening. Usually I do a video Wednesday evening, but tonight we're not going to do a video. We're just going to focus on our severe weather threat. And if you have questions, I'll be monitoring the chat. It's just me this evening, so bear with me a little bit. I'm not going to hang around too long. Currently, no severe weather of any kind in Ohio. No watches, no warnings at this time. That being said, let's take a look at the latest Storm Prediction Center outlook. They still have much of Ohio outlined in a slight risk, as well as an enhanced risk across parts of west central and southwestern Ohio. That includes Dayton and Cincinnati. The best threat really is further west. That's the moderate risk out here across portions of central Illinois and Indiana, to include Indianapolis. And there is some active severe weather out there right now, including this tornado warning here right around the Terre Haute area. All that is somewhat heading our way, but everything's kind of moving to the east-southeast along that line. But things aren't really quite set up the way we thought they would be set up. What was modeled the past couple of days just really isn't quite coming to fruition. Now, that said, the threat was always going to be this overnight threat, and it's one of these odd setups where things are going to kind of advect into the area late this evening, overnight, generally after about 10 p.m. through about 2 a.m. was our best window for severe weather. And that is still kind of holding, but we really need some things to truly develop and actually form. And if the ingredients don't come together and we don't get some of this formation or intensification of the current storms, then there is potential for this to be kind of a bust for us. So do keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and we'll get this off here. And we'll get over to our radar products here. So we'll take a look down here in the Indianapolis area right now. Again, we do have that tornado warning for Terre Haute. It is radar indicated rotation. And there's some funnel cloud reports, wall cloud reports. We did have a couple tornado reports across Illinois earlier. Charleston, Illinois, looked like it had a pretty significant tornado. But this is kind of our active weather right now. We don't really have a ton going on. We have the cell here around Indianapolis. There's a severe thunderstorm warning there. We have the cell at Terre Haute. And then down I-70, we have this cell in Effingham, Illinois. But that's it. That's all we got right now. They do have a tornado watch out that way. That does not include Ohio. Really right now what we got is just rain. And as we flip on over here, you'll see it's just rain. A lot of rain. Some thunder out there around Batavia, Amelia, Loveland, and that's really about it. It's mainly just this stratiform rain, if you will. Moderate at times. Could we use the rain? Yeah, we could use it in some spots. We do have a flood watch across portions of southern Ohio, though, because we are expecting a couple inches of rain in spots, especially where storms move through. That flood watch goes through Thursday morning. So remember, turn around, don't drown, never drive through a flooded roadway. Looking further north here, we do have rain. Really nothing in the way of thunder, some heavier showers just off of Avon Lake there in Lorain County. But otherwise, we just got this light to persistent moderate rain across portions of northeastern Ohio. Some dry pockets there as well. That's all moving off to the northeast. That is with the warm front, which kind of looks like this odd squiggly line. I'll do my best to point it out. I know it probably doesn't show up great on the live stream, but basically it's this kind of stationary front looking thing. This is our warm front. Now remember, fronts only update from the National Weather Service every so many hours, so this is behind. So we usually look at other features, current observations, things like that to kind of determine frontal placement. Just looking at temperatures alone, we're in the upper 60s to low 70s, generally along and south of US 30, and then we're in the low to mid 60s north of there. So our warm front is kind of in between there a little bit. I think kind of where this line is, it's actually a little bit further north, so it looks like it's probably lifted north of Finley and probably Tiffin as well, and then it kind of bisects some things a little bit. This is rain-cooled air out here, so it is a little bit cooler in the Cleveland and Akron metro right now. But this could lift all the way to about the Ohio-Michigan line. I don't know if it'll quite make it there, but anything south of that warm front bears the potential, should the ingredients come together, for storms to develop, get strong, or even severe. Where's the best potential? It's going to be southwestern Ohio, and that means we're going to watch these cells right here that are near Marion, Indiana, and Kokomo as well, moving towards Muncie. These are not severe right now at all. However, some of the short-term modeling, we'll get to modeling in a moment, do have these eventually developing, moving into southwestern Ohio. Could they get severe? Yes, it's possible, as long as we get the right ingredients. We have a whole bunch of wind shear aloft. Things are spinning like crazy aloft. But what we don't have is we don't have some of the other dynamics, like some energy, like surface-based CAPE, and we need at least a little bit of lift as well. But we do have plenty of other dynamics at play as well. So if this can tap into that and we can get some of that energy into southwestern Ohio, then those storms have the potential to develop into something more. But right now, not a whole lot going on with it. They don't look like much on radar, but of course we're looking at the Cleveland radar. If we flip over to Indianapolis, you'll see this looks like a little bit more. So this is about the only thing right now modeled. Again, this is a non-severe storm, by the way, but this is about the only thing modeled right now that would continue to develop, and that's recently developed too. And that's in line with what the models also suggested, so it's just something that bears watching to see if it truly does develop. We didn't get quite the line or quite the extent of some of the severe storms across Illinois and Indiana like we thought we were going to. Again, the modeling is interesting. These evening setups are very interesting. The modeling typically will sometimes overdo things. Sometimes then they'll pull it back as it gets a little closer, or they'll ramp it back up. It can kind of go either way. It's a very difficult thing to model. It makes it very complex. That's why you see some of this as well. We're not going to get into anything about locations, guys. Don't put your location here and think we're gonna. I'd be here all night. You guys would still ask me like 5 times what's happening in some town. We preach many times. We can't always do that. I know this is just kind of a Q&A, but you know, again, we're kind of covering things here in a bit more of a broad sense. With that said, let's go to some of our high resolution models here, and this one is good. Our high resolution rapid refresh. It's not fully out yet, so we'll see what happens here. New tornado warning there across Illinois. That's radar indicated. All right, so this is a bit overdone for sure, and that's kind of the problem here. So we're just going to kind of let this loop. You guys can watch it. It'll just kind of keep looping. So it really blows up this line of storms there, and that's after about, I want to say it's about midnight, right in here. That's pretty intense, and we're just not seeing that right now. It looks like it wants to blow things up around 10 o'clock here across west central Ohio, move through Cincinnati area between about 11 and 1 a.m. there, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Yeah, I'm not entirely sold on that particular feature right now. That's a bit aggressive. It's also a bit further north than I expected as well right now, being that our threat really shifted to the south earlier. Let's take a look at another model here and see if it's got anything in yet. No. Let's try the sub-hourly. Well, let's see what it has here. Why not? Why not? Okay, so this is kind of messy too. This is going back a little bit here. Yeah, that's going back to this evening. So pretty gnarly line of supercells already. I haven't looked at this. This is way overdone, unfortunately. So we're gonna disregard that. I'm not seeing that setup at all. That develops a lot of supercells, a very intense line of storms moving through overnight. Yeah, you know, we're not even gonna we're not even gonna entertain that one, guys. Let's try a different one here. Let's see what this shows. Again, this is going to go back a little bit. And it's doing about the same thing. Okay, cool, excellent. I don't know why it's that one's a bit aggressive. So we won't look at that. Let's try this one here. This model, 3 kilometer NAM, it's going away. But to be honest with you, it was not looking too great, and it may end up panning out a little bit better. We're gonna stop this because this model goes for a bit. So this is about where we're at right now, and it's close to our current time. It's about 45 minutes behind. So not too bad. Shows the cell here, shows our cells there, our rain across Ohio. That's pretty decently modeled. As we keep going, that's midnight, and then things kind of just fizzle out. They miss Ohio. We do get some showers, maybe a couple thunderstorms that develop there across central Ohio, but those will probably stay sub-severe. If they even develop at all. I'm not very sold on that particular development, but it's not too far off from where we were. Let's see if we got a few other tricks we can pull out of the hat here. I don't know if this one is up to date or not. Oh yeah, it is. Look at there. Okay. It's from this morning. We're gonna just kind of let this run. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't particularly like this. Okay, that's not looking good. Let's see what other tricks we have here. No. These are going to look a little bit crazy, but we'll try it here. Let's see. You never know. I think this is going to be a bit overdone. It looks like the coverage already is quite overdone on this one. Just kind of watching it here. Yeah, it's a bit overdone. I think that one's a bit overdone too. Okay, so that said, get this here. I think we'll stick with. Let's see what this shows. This one could always be interesting too. Let's see. It's still the high resolution rapid refresh, but it's broken down into what they call sub-hourly increments, or about every 15 minutes. So it animates a lot smoother. I still think this is overdone north. I really do. We're just not seeing that development, unfortunately. This down here isn't too bad, but I do think it's a bit overdone, unless we can really get some other dynamics advecting into the area here over about the next I'll say 2 hours. Then perhaps that has a chance, but I'm not particularly sold on it. I do think it's a bit aggressive. And that does happen, again, with these types of setups on the models. They can get a little aggressive with things. Again, I know some of you may be looking at, okay, can I go to bed? You can go to bed. I'm not going to keep you up. So yes, have a way to receive weather alerts. I honestly think right now our best chance for severe weather right now is going to be, I'm going to circle it, guys, don't worry. I think right now it's generally right in here. So we'll call it that southwestern quadrant of Ohio. That's where I really think the best threat for any potential severe weather is. It could happen outside of it, do not get me wrong. But I think right here, that's really where, if there's going to be anything severe, that's where the best potential is. That's where things could come together. I don't think it's going to get far enough north. I just do not see it happening that far north. As you get further east, that's going to be an early morning thing. We're talking 4 a.m. out here at least. And by that point, stuff is going to be kind of fizzling away. So I don't particularly see it. Northwest Ohio, you guys are pretty much done with any sort of severe weather threat. So if you're Toledo, Bowling Green, Findlay, Bryan, anything like that, I think you guys are fine. Even as far south as Lima, to be honest with you. Look, we don't have anything up here. So unless something blows up immediately, we got nothing going on. And I think it's going to kind of stay that way. This is pretty stable air up here, and everything else south is kind of where we're looking. Everything's kind of moving that east-southeast fashion. So that said, I think Northwest Ohio, even down to Lima, I think you guys are okay. Northeastern Ohio, I'm not expecting any sort of severe weather right now for you guys. So Cleveland, Akron, Youngstown, points north and east. I think you guys are going to be okay. You're going to get the rain. You might hear some thunder overnight. We'll see if any of this stuff kind of intensifies a little bit near that warm front, but I'm not expecting any severe weather there. So right now it's pretty much the southwestern side of Columbus towards Springfield, Dayton, Washington Courthouse, Wilmington, perhaps down US 23, Chillicothe to Portsmouth, and then west of there to Cincinnati and that area. I think that's our best threat right now. So I hope that helps. And I think that answers some questions for people. What's going to happen in my backyard? But that is kind of where we're at. So I hope that helps everybody with what we're looking at. What threats are we looking at? Anything's on the table right now with these storms. Again, lots of shear. We are seeing, we were seeing hail reports earlier, but I haven't seen any recently. It's mainly been damaging winds and a tornado potential. We got some of that there across, again, that west central Indiana right now around the Terre Haute area, a couple tornado warnings. And honestly, that's about that's the strongest storm on radar right now, believe it or not, is that area. You'll see some of these little, tornado-looking icons. Those are reports of tornadoes. There was one in Clarksville, Illinois, around an hour ago, and then this is the one in Charleston from about a half hour ago, outside of Charleston. Looks like we had a report of a tornado near Effingham, Illinois. That was recently reported, but that could have happened a while ago. So yeah, not particularly seeing anything too extreme. Let me make sure I have all my proper warnings on. I believe I do. Oh, I don't. Okay. You know what? Let's do this. Bear with me. Can I just active alerts? Okay. Nope, can't do that. All right. So let's just go through and we'll check all the boxes off. Oh, let's do this. Reset general settings. Yeah, sure. Okay, that helps. So we'll probably see a few more warnings here. Okay, cool. Yes, we will. Okay, cool. So we actually do have a tornado on the ground near Effingham where they got a particularly dangerous situation tornado warning issued. And that's a confirmed tornado on the ground. Let's take a look at that real quick. Why not, right? Let's see. I want to see what Office of Lincoln. Perfect. We're on the right radar site. Yep, they are tracking the tornado. A couple more tornado reports, some spotters just now coming in. So that tornado is definitely on the ground in that case. Let's take a look at our velocity. Oh yeah, okay, cool. So let's look right here. So yesterday we had that tornado warning. I helped cover that a little bit. And we talked about gate-to-gate shear, red versus green. This is what we want to see when we have a very strong spin right there, even so. That is a very, very strong spin. When we look at this is what's called our normalized rotation product. It's a radar-derived product, a bunch of math. And when we start seeing that's telling us that we have some pretty strong rotation there. So that kind of gives us somewhat where the center of rotation is. And then we have our correlation coefficient product. and this is a derived product too that says, okay, does what I'm reflecting off of correlate with what's around it? When it doesn't, this is what we get. So this is telling us when we see radar confirmed tornado, this is one of the tools the Weather Service uses to determine if this tornado is on the ground. When we start seeing these blues, this is what we call, in the field, we call this a CC drop. Notice around it, we have the higher values, and then we have the blues here. These are low values, because why? There's debris being lofted into the air. The radar is reflecting on it. It's a very reflective object. The raindrops aren't, and they don't correlate well. So this is telling us that there's debris being lofted in the air. So that's how we're able to determine if something is on the ground. Newer tool, about 10-ish years or so now. It's been around, but it's a very valuable tool. It definitely helps confirm what is happening. That's what looks like a pretty dangerous tornado out there right now. That's in Illinois. Is that heading our way? Well, no, it's probably not heading our way. Because that, again, is way, way, way out in Illinois. So it's got a long way to go. It's moving east-southeast. If it stayed on that trajectory, it would not hit Ohio. And being in the northern hemisphere, we don't particularly see left-turning cells. So I'm not particularly worried about that one impacting us right now. If you draw a straight line on the map, Effingham, Illinois comes in just a little north of Cincinnati. So again, unless it moved literally in that straight line, I'm going to give you a big hint. That doesn't work. It's not going to hit us, but that's kind of what we're looking at here. So this was somewhat modeled. Models were being a bit more intensive with the overall development, but we do have this going back into Indiana and Illinois. So we'll keep an eye on that, and we really want to keep an eye, again, what's happening to the north and east of Indianapolis. So we really kind of want to keep an eye on this area right now. Well, that's a little big. Let me try that again. Let's not do that. Let's unlock, okay. And then let's see if I can draw. It never does quite work. There we go. So we kind of want to keep an eye on this area right in here. Don't have a lot going on there, but it's definitely an area we want to keep an eye on, because I'm going to circle it again for you guys. That's, if we are going to get development, that's where it's going to be. And that's cells, Portland, Marion, Indiana, north of Muncie, Indiana there. If we get any development, that's where stuff's going to happen. And then kind of where we don't have much going on as well. So we're going to see if we can get anything to advect into this area over the next few hours. So that's what we're watching right now. We're going to turn that off. Check the chat here for you guys. Raven, I know you think this was overhyped. I'm glad you're happy that it was overhyped, but there was a lot of boom and bust potential with this. So that is, again, we kind of talked about that. It kind of stinks from there. Again, I can't tell you about every city and county everybody's posting here. That's what we're dealing with. Again, we'll briefly cover this here for those that just joined us. I'm going to flip over to the Wilmington radar here. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to draw on the map once again here where I think the best threat is right now this evening. It's generally in here, southwestern Ohio. I'm going to do this. You can see this line here. This is US 23, and then this is US 33 right here. And I think, honestly, that may be better. Geographically, that may be better, actually. So southwestern Ohio, this is our best threat. So we have US 33 here, and then we have US 23 here. So US 23 from Columbus south, US 33 from Columbus northwest. If you are south and west of those lines in southwestern Ohio, I think, honestly, that's the best potential right now to see severe weather. If you're in northeastern Ohio, eastern Ohio, southeastern Ohio, and northwestern Ohio, the threat is really low. Actually, in northwestern Ohio, we kind of talked about it. Really no threat for severe weather up here this evening. Eastern Ohio, if you are pretty much anywhere east of 71 and US 23, I don't particularly see a big severe threat. The caveat will be southeastern Ohio towards daybreak. If these storms develop and can maintain themselves through much of the overnight, you could see a couple severe storms or even just some strong storms. It'll primarily be damaging wind at that point. But honestly, that's a really low threat. We really need stuff to develop first. If it does, I think the best dynamics, if they come together, is generally across southwestern Ohio. Again, south of US 33, west of US 23. So we're looking at. I hope that helps. Hopefully you know where your county or your city is at on the map. If not, study up. Those are high school basic, guys. So let's make sure we do. But that's where we're at right now with all of that. No severe weather in Ohio right now tonight. There are some thunderstorms. Again, we do have a thunderstorm here around, that's this one here in Indiana. We're kind of watching this one to see what transpires, right? So it's not severe right now. And if we look at like the reflectivity and everything, well, it looks hideous here. We're too far away. Let's select the Indianapolis radar. A lot of shear. You see all this shear? We got all this shear, and that makes it very interesting. Now, here's something else that's interesting too. This just popped up. You're gonna notice these little spinning things. On this particular radar program, it's called Tornado ID, and that doesn't do anything. You click it. Basically, it gives a confidence level of what it thinks is a potentially developing area of rotation or even a tornado. And it is quite interesting here. This really kind of just developed. And so we do have some rotation there, and that's along Indiana State Route 18, by the way. This is not a severe warning storm. So when we look at that and we look at the location of this, it's quite interesting. Typically, we don't see rotation on the backside of a cell, which is where we're at. If we were going to see it, it would be in here somewhere. And we're seeing rotation kind of back in here a little bit. Now, that could just be because this is a touch behind. And these are kind of fast movers. But yeah, I mean, that little area of spin that's being depicted is lining up with our area of rotation. I see that's gone now. So you got to be. It is something that is newer and it's being trialed. So it's not perfect. It's a nice visual tool to kind of bring attention to things. But there was kind of a brief little spin there, but I don't believe that to be a tornadic spin. It does not make any sense based on the location of the storm or anything else. But there may have been a brief little area aloft that perhaps spun. It could have been an anomaly that's just depicted on radar too. A lot of different things can cause that, unfortunately. So something just to kind of keep an eye on. But we're just going to watch that storm to see what it does. I want to see if we get any development to the south and east, and I'll even highlight that here. So I'd be looking at developing things really down in here, right? I really want to see development somewhere in here or somewhere in here. Because if we don't, we got this gap, and that gap's going to continue to just grow. So basically what happens here is this gap is just, as everything goes, it's just going to expand. Oh, geez, we did the old Southwest Ohio split. This just becomes kind of a thunderstorm, rain shower, whatever. And these then pull to the south and east, and they pretty much just, at best, maybe graze Hamilton County. But that would be about it. So we really need to see this kind of have some development in the next hour or so. If we don't get that, then this could get kind of interesting in the sense that it may not do anything at all. So do keep that in mind. It may not do anything at all. It's very, very possible. Best sells again out in Indiana and Illinois this evening. And check the chat a little bit. No, the cell for Salina is not severe. Is it heading your way? No, it's not exactly heading your way. Let's loop the radar real quick so you can kind of see it. Well, actually, it is heading a little bit more east. Okay, so that cell is heading your way. My bad. I thought it looked like it was more heading to the south and east. That cell's heading your way, but it is not severe. It is not really rotating. You may see some spin aloft. Again, there was a lot of that this afternoon, even with some of the rain that moved into western Ohio. There's just so much shear aloft, stuff just kind of spinning around. But you need a little bit more. You need something else to come along and tap into that. We'll monitor this cell while we're live, but it honestly is, even just looking at the loop here, it's not really doing a whole lot. It's not particularly getting stronger. We see more rain. Yeah, there's that, but it's not very organized either. So that is heading your way. You will see some showers and storms. That's a pretty general storm. It doesn't look to be doing anything crazy. You may see some clouds spinning and do some stuff. I mean, this is just a base velocity scan. I mean, these, we get into the pinks, we're in the 70-mile-an-hour range. We get into those yellows, we're low to mid 80 miles an hour. And then as we get into the reds there, it's less, but I mean, it's just a lot of shear. So you'll see the clouds moving quickly if you can see them in the dark. I know it's dark out, guys, but you're not going to see, I'm not seeing anything I don't really see anything suggesting any spin here right now, so that's good. No, nothing like that. I think we have this little outflow boundary within the storm here, and that could actually even be inflow, and the radar just kind of picked that up on something very brief with the storm, maybe an updraft developing or something like that. But yeah, it looks okay. So you'll get some rain off it here, and we can even do a quick little storm track right here. We'll go right there with it. Yeah, it's moving at about 30. So it looks like Salina is about, oh man, okay. It has it at about 1030, but I don't think that's accurate. I don't think that's accurate at all. I don't like that at all. Okay, let's clear that. Actually, let's try this. Let's say it's moving it. Let's see. That brings it at 10:16, 45 minutes. Okay. That might be a little bit more accurate. Let me try this one more time, guys. I'm sorry. New tools. I'll try that. Slide about 10:10 seems a little bit more predictable there. And these could even be moving faster than that. Yeah, that seems a little bit more predictable. So Salina about, where'd it go? 10:09, Chattanooga 9:54, J City, which is in Indiana, 9:50, Mercer, Ohio, 10:08, and then Mendon 10:13 if it gets there. And then we get out towards like Grand Lake, St. Mary's 10:14, Monticello 10:19. I hope that helps with everything. For our YouTube viewers, is Dayton, Ohio going to be good tonight? I am sure you're just joining us because I haven't seen any Facebook comments. You are the first. You guys are in an area where we could see severe weather. And we kind of covered that earlier. Could see some severe weather anytime between, say, about 11 and 2. It's really hard to say because we really need to see things develop. If it doesn't develop, it's going to miss you entirely. So a big boom or bust. The tornado outlook update was from this afternoon. I know it does say 10%, but we're again, forecast versus reality here, right? We have to take a look at that. And the forecast does have that area. The reality is right now we're not seeing it. So those are things to kind of keep in mind. Again, forecasts are forecasts. They don't always pan out, unfortunately. So just something to kind of keep in mind right now. We're not seeing anything, but yeah, it's just something to continue to monitor. Let me turn this down here. Oh, well, it looks like we may have a tornado watch forthcoming. Stand by. Yeah, okay. I don't know why this is not displaying here. Give me a second. I'm not sure why that's not displaying. Let's see here. Settings. Other. General. Okay, that's very interesting. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll turn that off. We'll turn this on. I don't think this is going to show it. Nope, okay. I don't know why it's not showing it. That's interesting. Usually it shows them. I did something and it took it away. I'm sorry, guys. Let me... Bear with me just a moment. I'll get this up. We'll just share the Storm Prediction Center thing here right now. How's that sound? I'm just gonna share it right over this, guys, just so it's just so that it's right here. Okay, cool. So this is a mesoscale discussion. It's kind of basically a forecast product that says, here's what we're thinking here at the Storm Prediction Center. So they do issue these. They are outlining southwestern Ohio. Look at that, about where I talked. So generally along and south of 70, Interstate 70, and along and roughly west of US 23 for a tornado watch. So I'm going to read this here real quick, and I'll kind of, again, it's a couple paragraphs, so it's usually not real long, but it is technical. Looking at the low, tracking from Wisconsin into lower Michigan, we have a very strong low-level jet translating northeastward into eastern Indiana and central Ohio. That's going to be some of that shear. That's going to also bring some other stuff in here. They're talking about hodographs, which is those radiosondes. So Wilmington is one of those sites that send those up, and it does have a very curved hodograph. And that is where we see spin with height, right? So we see a change in wind direction and or speed and height. This usually hodograph is going to be a change in wind direction, so it brings that radiosonde in different directions. Generally speaking, a few tornadoes, damaging winds, and large hail are all possible. So it's all on the table right now. So that is, okay, so that's what we're looking at. Yeah, so I'll point out a couple things here. Just real quick on this graphic. Might be really hard to see because it's quite busy. But right here, you're going to see a couple flags, a blue flag, and then a red flag. So these are winds aloft. Usually it's about 5,000 to 10,000 feet aloft, or 850 millibars and 500 millibars. And when we start seeing it where they're making angles like about 45 degrees or so, and maybe not quite that much, that's telling us we're seeing a different wind direction vertically, right? So we're seeing a southwest wind and then a west wind, and that's going to start creating that spin in the atmosphere vertically aloft. So when we start seeing that, that does get a little bit concerning, because we are seeing it at the surface. Here, let's put this all together. At the surface here, we're seeing that's going to be the little black wind barbs here, right? So that's surface. Everything else is aloft. From the surface, they're out of the southeast. So we have southeast, southwest, and west. So that's going to create some of that spin that we're talking about. So we do have that at play. So we'll stick live for now. See if that watch comes out here shortly. It looks like it's more than likely or not going to happen. So yeah, we'll just kind of sit tight on that. We'll get that off the screen here. Okay. There are some other tornado warnings coming out west. So we are seeing an increase in some of that. But I think some of it is just they're kind of doing the downstream warning of it too. So, but we are seeing an uptick here across Indiana and Illinois with some of that. So that will be interesting. Let's loop it here real quick. Let's see what direction we're generally moving. So it is kind of east southeasterly. The whole package is moving that way. Some of the individual cell movement is a little bit easterly right now, but I think over time that'll change to kind of a little bit more to the southeast than anything. Okay, for Dayton, yeah, there is the potential for tornadoes. I think you're going to see that tornado watch into the Dayton area here soon. Could hit Columbus. It's going to depend. But again, this is generally where we talked about now a few times. I think our best severe weather threat is. So we'll draw it again here. We have US 33 right here. We have US 23 right here, and we have Interstate 70 right here. So we have 33, 23, and I-70, right? So generally speaking, anywhere where I'm circling, I think that's our best severe weather threat. We could see the watch come out here a little bit further west. Some of that's going to be for a couple reasons. One will be just kind of how the county lines fall. The other will be kind of how the Wilmington Weather Service forecast area falls out here too. They may decide to warn their whole forecast area, they may not. Sometimes they do that, it's just a simplicity thing. But again, I think generally south of 33, west of 23 US routes, 70's right here. It's possible we don't get a whole lot between US 33 and 70. It's possible. I don't want to rule it out, but I think right there. Does that include Columbus? Yeah, Columbus, you're kind of on the edge of it, I think. But yes, we'll include Columbus for now. Dayton, Springfield, Cincinnati, in all of that for sure. And Portsmouth, yeah, we'll include you on that. However, it's going to be a while before anything gets there. So the threat will probably be more wind damage there, not a ton in the way of tornadic weather, but that's generally what we're looking at right now. Again, we could see that watch go a little bit further west in this area, but I think, again, this is primarily where we're looking at the best severe weather threat. So I hope that answers your questions. We're not going to get into anything elsewhere. If I didn't mention your area right now, you're not in any sort of severe weather threat. I know the Storm Prediction Center has different stuff in their categorical outlook. That's from 4 o'clock Eastern this afternoon. Stuff has changed significantly since then. And again, we're looking at live radar, what's developed versus what was forecast earlier. When they made that forecast for 4 o'clock, that was based on model data that came in as early as 8 a.m. or as late as 2 p.m., depending on what they looked at. But they're also looking at, current conditions as well. And at those times, at 2, 3 o'clock, wasn't a whole lot going on. Stuff was really just starting to get firing and going, and we didn't see a lot of that development yet. So again, even at that point, we're relying on some of the forecast modeling. We'll take one more look at that real quick in just a moment, because some of it will have undoubtedly updated by now, because it does run each hour. So again, last time, biggest threat is southwestern Ohio. We'll include Columbus, Portsmouth, and then pretty much anything along and south of 33 from Columbus up towards Fort Wayne, Indiana, and then 23 from Columbus south to Portsmouth. If you are west or south of those, that is generally where your threat is. If I did not mention you, it's a good part of Ohio, you're going to be okay. Eastern Ohio, I do not see a severe weather threat. Northeastern Ohio, I do not see a severe weather threat. Northwestern Ohio, forget about it. I'm not seeing a severe weather threat up there tonight. Central Ohio, outside of Columbus, so kind of that east side there, you could see some storms. I don't think they're going to be severe. It's possible 1 or 2 could. Southeastern Ohio, if there's any severe weather, it's going to be closer to 3, 4 a.m. right now before any of that even reaches you. We got all that rain out there, so that is kind of what we're looking at. Also interesting here is we are starting to kind of see some development up in northwestern Ohio, but it's rain. It's nothing severe, and it could be a couple thunderstorms here. Right here, Defiance, Holgate, Deshler, we're kind of looking at some shower activity developing. We'll keep an eye on that to see if that decides it wants to develop into anything. It is near the warm front, so we'll see if that decides it wants to do much of anything. Our storm here, right along the Ohio-Indiana border here near Geneva, Indiana. it's not holding up well. So I think some of that rain cooled air from earlier may be hurting it a little bit. But we're going to kind of keep an eye on it as it moves into Ohio. Could decide to redevelop or intensify, but right now I don't think that's going to happen. The biggest threat really right now is in Indiana. I mean, there's just a line of tornado warnings lining up here pretty much right now. So those are some pretty intense cells. Those will move towards southwestern Ohio over the next few hours. They probably will not arrive until closer to 11 p.m. or even a little bit later. So that's kind of what we're looking at the moment there. Looks like there's a tornado warning just issued for Franklin, Indiana. Again, radar indicated. A lot of them are radar indicated. That's a little south of Greenwood there, headed towards Shelbyville, Indiana. Okay, we've covered a lot of this stuff, so I'm not even going to answer a lot of these. So, should I start to be prepared? You should always be prepared for severe weather. If you have not, yeah, I would, just in case. It's a middle of the night threat. Chances are you're probably not staying up all night. You know, going to be kind of hard. So I would be prepared just in case. Just in case, guys, for sure. All right, let's take a quicker look at some modeling again, real quick. I want to see if we have anything else in. Let's see. Well, this is the 0Z high resolution rapid refresh. I think this is going to be a bit overdone still. Yeah, that's way overdone. It's possible some of this stuff develops. It's possible. Gosh darn it. All right, fine. Let's do this. There we go. So right here is midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. It's possible some of this develops, but I'm not so sure on that one. I'm really not. I don't see that as being super accurate right now. I think even on this one, it doesn't work that way. Okay. Yeah, this looks a bit overdone too. Might be a little bit closer. Let's see, we are here right now time-wise roughly. And everything's a bit north. I think it's too far north. And that is going to be, geez, that's 12:30 it looks like. Yeah, no, that can't be right. Yep, that was 12:30. Okay, nope, that's a bit behind. Does this develop anything? Yeah, let's take a look at this. Okay. I'm not so certain on this one here. See if it'll load anything. There it goes. I'll pause it here. I think this is going to end up being too far north too. So here is where we should be if we overlay radar on it. Oh, it won't let me. Okay. That's cool. Won't let me do it. Okay, never mind. We won't do that. We won't overlay radar on it. It's pretty close. You can see the warnings where they're at here in Indiana, around Indy. It's not too bad. There's that cell up near Salina. That's pretty accurate. That's maybe a bit strong for where we're at. But let's see what this does here. This is 10:45. This is an hour from now. This is 11:30. And that's midnight. Well, if this develops, this could get quite concerning. But we got a long way to go here. before this happens. If this develops, here's what we're looking at right at midnight. We kind of have a couple cells up here, but these cells down here in southwestern Ohio will be the most concerning, where we could see some of that tornadic potential. Those are the most concerning ones there. As we go into, this is 12:30, 1 a.m. I mean, it's Cincinnati Metro is just getting slammed. Then we also have a cell up here just north of Springfield that could be interesting moving into Columbus. But this right here, this is a line of some really strong cells. Hail, damaging winds, flash flooding, and a tornado or two would certainly be possible. And that extends back into southwestern Indiana, into Illinois, and we'll just kind of keep going with it. 1:30, I mean, this is interesting if this were to develop. I think for northeastern Ohio, up here, some of this is possible, but I don't particularly see it being that strong. The environment here as we get into the overnight is just less and less overall. It gets worse and worse in terms of any sort of severe weather potential. We kind of lose it. And basically it's because these storms here are going to suck all the energy from it. Models don't always handle that well, but that's kind of typically what we see. But these are some big cells. It does start training a little bit here across southwest Ohio, across the Cincinnati Metro. So if we get that, we could see some potential decent flash flooding. 3 a.m., again, we're still getting things. And then as we get into 4, 5 a.m., again, we're getting into southwestern Ohio. Stuff does diminish. As it diminishes, I think it's more of a wind threat than anything else. But it looks to hold on to about 3, 4 a.m. A couple cells there, pretty good. But we will lose some of the dynamics as we head past about 2 a.m. And actually, let's see if we can pull some of those up too, because I believe we can. If for some reason my audio goes out, it's because the batteries died, guys. I will keep an eye on it. No, this one doesn't. Let's see if this one does. Yeah, this will be good enough, I think, here. Okay. Ah, yes, okay. So this is where we get concerning. So this is what's called surface-based CAPE, convective available potential energy. And so this here is really light. It's not a whole lot. It's almost just like kind of background energy. It's when we start getting into the greens and yellows and oranges and things like that. If this can advect further north, it gets to right about Cincinnati here. If this can advect a little bit further north, we don't need a whole lot of this to get things going. So if it taps into that and that advects further north, then that could be just enough. And we hit about 1,000 of it. It's measured in joules per kilogram of air, or energy rather, in the air. So we're not talking about timing. I'm not doing timing because it's right now. It's more of a nowcast. So I cannot give you timing. There'll be none of that. I can give you basic kind of stuff, which we just did with the modeling. But again, it's really, really difficult to give you that because if it doesn't develop, you're not getting it. So right now, timing's kind of out the window. I also want to look at our Helicity products. This is going to be really insane. I mean, it's going to be really insane here. So it's going to be off the charts. So what you're seeing here across Indiana, where it's kind of this almost black color, that's maxed out on the scale. By the way, that's not uncommon. Gosh darn it. Let's go back here. So this is maxed out, right? So we're hitting big values, and that's not uncommon. The scale isn't huge. That doesn't mean we're getting tornadoes in northern Ohio. It's just showing me areas of shear. We do get into some of it in southwestern Ohio, but it's a bit further north on this particular model compared to the one we just looked at. And then let's see what else we have here. We don't have a whole lot else to look at. Okay, interesting. Gosh darn. As far as winds go, near the surface, it does get quite windy tomorrow. We can talk about that real quick here since this is here. So let's see here. So it won't pick up thunderstorm winds. So just kind of keep that in mind. But we do start getting windy across Ohio, especially north tomorrow. Some gale warnings out on Lake Erie. Would not be a good time out on Lake Erie. So just that's something to kind of keep in mind too. All right, let's go back to, oh, that's there. And we did look at that. And then this is just now coming in. Okay. How far out are we on it? Nope. Like too far, but let's see what we get. Yeah, not too far. Okay. So this only goes, this particular model's coming in, it's the high resolution rapid refresh. It refreshes every hour. This is what it has for midnight around the Dayton area. There's 11, 10. It's a little bit overdone. I'm not so sure about this northeastward extent from roughly Newark to Mount Vernon to Tiffin as it moves east. I'm not so sure about that, but the storm around Dayton could get quite interesting. And that's gonna develop pretty quick. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that. Be enough model mania for now. Can we see anything on the satellite here? Let's see. Some decent cloud tops. Let's move this over. Yeah, okay. Okay, nothing too crazy. Let's see here. That's all visible satellite. So is that. Okay, it's not. We don't have that. Okay, cool. All right, so we got some pretty good cloud tops going. Cool. Kind of cold. Excellent. So we want to see if we're going to see the storms. But a lot of it is across Indiana. So not a whole lot there going on. Excellent. Okay, let's collapse that. Get the radar back on here. Bunch of new tornado warnings getting issued in Indiana. We have a particularly dangerous tornado warning here in south central Indiana right now. It goes till 10:45 p.m. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado is on the ground 8 miles southwest of Martinsville, Indiana, moving east at 45 miles an hour. It's a little north of Bloomington. And that is confirmed on radar. Wow. Okay. Looks like it's been on the ground for a little bit there. So let's take a look at it. So that's where we're seeing that spinny icon there. And that's a much better, yeah, it's right here about to cross 69. Actually, it's probably crossing 69 as we speak. Wow. Okay, so there, now we see on our normalized rotation product here, the white dot, this is maxed out. That's definitely a large tornado. Interstate 69, it's going to cross that. It's heading towards the Morgan Monroe State Forest and the town of, I want to say it's Hinston. I can't see it, the arrows are covering up, my bad. We look at our correlation coefficient product, and yeah, I mean, it's same deal. Again, we have all this around it, so everything correlates. Then we get into the blues, and so we got the CC drop or the donut hole, and that is a very large tornado with debris lofted into the air right now. Just crossed Interstate 69. So that's definitely a damaging tornado. This is in Indiana, guys, not Ohio. But just to give you an idea kind of what's happening west, this is a better setup out there. So it's stuff we're watching. This stuff's all kind of moving off to the east-southeast a little bit. So it's possible we could see some of these storms affect portions of the state. Yeah, that's a very, very strong cell. So we even have a really high reflectivity returns. You'd almost think this is a hail core. It is flashing because of the high reflectivity. Nope, this is high reflectivity because of debris. So debris ball right here as well. So we got the inflow here, we have outflow there, and we have a debris ball now. So this is definitely a very dangerous tornado on the ground. Right there in south central Indiana. That's really, really dangerous. Let's see who's involved here. Let's see. It has Columbus, Indiana, Nashville, Indiana, Edinburgh. I got a feeling a lot of these are going to be generally smaller towns. Oh wow, they have They have that warned out real far. They have that warned out almost to Columbus, Indiana. Okay, interesting. It could potentially get there. There was the potential, if you get the right setup with some of these storms, we could get some of these long track tornadoes. That is certainly there. That one could be one of those. Could be the one on the night that we get that with. So something to just kind of keep an eye on. Further west around Effingham, they still got a tornado warning, radar indicated stuff. Same there across eastern Illinois, but this one here, this is significant. It is really significant. And it's going to go kind of through the state forest over here. It's a bit hilly in this part of Indiana, so it's kind of interesting to see what happens. The best thing, really, honestly, is it's not super populated. So that's kind of good. We're probably not going to have spotters on this storm. Let's see. Spotter network. No, I don't see anything out there. I wouldn't at this time of night. That is dangerous, especially in this part of the country. Very dangerous to see that. Probably not much in the way of cameras down there. Nope, nothing there. Yeah, it looks like most of our spotters are going to be further north. Let's see, storm chasers here. Okay, that's off in Illinois. All those are in Illinois. Okay, so we don't have anybody here. That's fine, not a problem. Wouldn't want them to be there. Yeah, that is a very, very, very well defined tornado. Oh yeah, that's whew, wow. We don't see that too much. Oh yeah, there's the track. So this is a basically just kind of a track of the correlation coefficient over time, and you can kind of see where it's been so far in a sense. I don't know how particularly long this updates, but that is something else. Wow, wow, wow. That's a big, big tornado on the ground out there in Indiana. Yeah, this is Brianna. This is or Brenna. My bad. This is WeatherWise. We started using it not too long ago, so it's a wonderful program. We've talked about the rest of these guys. I love you guys just going here and throwing your name of your town in there and thinking I'm just going to blurt it out about 100 times, but we're not doing that. We've covered it plenty of times. I know some of you just joined, but again, it's Southwest Ohio. Southwest Ohio is the threat right now. Not really anywhere else. I'm just pretty much at this point just waiting to see if and or when they're going to issue this tornado watch. Just because it is a something that will be you know, of concern to you. So we'll see if they issue that at all. We'll do our best to stay around through the night. It's going to be kind of hard. It's pretty much just me that has the ability to do anything here through the evening, and well, I need sleep too. It's been a long day, so this is, once again, that's kind of where we're at. So I'll do my best, but you do watch our posts on the page too. Those do happen automatically. Just looking at a couple other things here real quick. Looks like the Storm Prediction Center did issue their latest outlook. I'll pull that up shortly. Yeah, I'll pull this up shortly here. I'm just going to give it a quick read. Let's pull it up, guys. Outlooks, day 1. Make sure that's the right one. It is. Okay, so here's what we got right now. They've expanded this quite a bit. If you're in this green area, that's a marginal risk. Pretty much forget about severe weather for the most part. If you're in the slight risk area, that's the yellow area. I'm not so sure why they extended this so far east. I'm thinking they were looking at that one model we were looking at with the storms kind of developing over there, and maybe they're just kind of unsure, so they're going to put it in there just in case. I'm not so sure about north and east of Columbus on this, so a lot of variables going on here. Our enhanced risk gets to I-75 from Troy to Dayton down to just north of Cincinnati. Cincinnati Metro itself is in a slight risk technically. So that's what we're looking at here right now. Again, we still got that moderate risk out here across south central Indiana, and that's where the significant activity is going on right now. Basically what they said is we could still see tornadoes pretty much anywhere in the enhanced risk. It could get into west central and parts of southwestern Ohio if we get enough instability. That's some of that Cape moving in that we looked at earlier. If we can get it to advect north far enough, if it gets here, combined with the strong winds aloft, the shear, that could be enough to get some tornadic activity. Yes, that includes Dayton, for those that have asked about 50 times. Dayton. Huber Heights, Fairborn, Englewood, Miamisburg, all that down there in Montgomery County. So keep that in mind. We're in the low 70s here, so we do have some warmer air to work with too. So these are the storms to kind of watch. They are not going to turn left on us. If they do anything, they're going to be right turns. So if you're in the Cincinnati area, somewhere in like western Hamilton County, I just kind of keep an eye on them right now. Wouldn't be too particularly worried at this point. We're going to want to watch for future development here over the next couple hours or so. And then just to point out kind of some of their probabilistic stuff here. This is their tornado forecast, the latest one here. They do have this little hatched area getting out to Columbus. And then we have so we got 2% probability, 5% probability, 10% probability. So 10% probability if there are 10 storms in that area, one of them might produce a tornado. Just think of it that way, right? We got 10 storms, one might produce a tornado. We don't know which one. The hatching you see here is kind of suggesting that we could see the potential for a stronger tornado. But this is very new to us. But it's panning out well down here where they have a higher potential hatched for stronger tornadoes. Certainly possible if the right stuff sets up. We got the right setup that we could see a stronger tornado if we even get it. We have to get it. A lot of boom and bust right now. So that's our tornado probability right now. It's there, but it doesn't mean it's actually going to happen too sometimes. As far as wind goes, yeah, we got the wind damage potential, and then hail that's actually come down. Excuse me, that's actually come down. So pretty low probability on hail right now. That's great. But we could still see some large hail. That's not to say that we can't. But I think as everything moves through, it transitions to a line. So that does certainly help with our hail potential, because we're going to start going more towards wind damage. So we don't have the ability for the big updrafts to develop and sustain a lot of hail. And then this is just that's nothing actually. Okay, cool, excellent. So that is what we're looking at there. Let's go ahead and go back to the radar. I do want to go back to Indy here real quick. These are some interesting storms out here, especially with that tornado warning. I was just kind of curious if it was still doing it. It certainly looks like it. Looking at velocity here, yeah, we still got something going, but it's not as well. That tells a different story. Not as quite as discrete as it was earlier until you look at the correlation coefficient here, and yeah, you can pretty much tell right where it's at over here. That's quite strong, quite strong. that may end up being kind of a long track tornado. And if we were to do a storm track on it, just kind of going east here, about, yeah, that's fine. Doesn't really hit anything. Doesn't find any real towns. So that's in a way good. Yeah, it's still significant. Something to continue to watch. Not so sure that's going to get to Ohio. I know this is showing some spin up here, but look where it's at, guys. It's on the back edge of the storm. We don't see back edge tornadoes too much, but we're also looking at the radar out of Indiana. Let's look at the radar out of Wilmington, which would cover this area, or even the radar out of Fort Wayne, and we don't see that. So that's something that's happening way, way high aloft, and when we get into these high shear environments where the radar beam is passing through multiple layers, sometimes it doesn't take much before we see that change in wind direction or speed. And when we get that, you know, sometimes that'll flag things, and that's kind of the false positive, if you will. Yeah, not seeing anything particularly there. That's a little bit further away, but yeah, so that's, don't worry about that one. This is just a generic storm north of Salina here, Ohio City, Rockford, Spencerville towards Lima. Not really doing a whole lot. Seeing a little bit of development there around Portland, Indiana. We'll kind of see if this continues to fill in, but some of this rain moving in is going to make things interesting too. So we'll see if that diminishes anything or not. We do have our tornado watch out. I'm going to turn these off. Here's our tornado watch, guys. It's almost exactly where I said. Oh, wow. It does not include Columbus, though. That's a bit surprising. They opted not to. But our tornado watch is here in red. It's pretty much south of 70 for the most part, and generally along and west of US 23. So Chillicothe, Waverly, Portsmouth, Wilmington, Washington Courthouse, Hillsborough, Cincinnati, Batavia, Hamilton, Lebanon, Dayton, Xenia. All of you guys are in this tornado watch that runs until 5 a.m. Here's what they're saying. They're saying a few tornadoes likely with a couple intense tornadoes possible, scattered damaging wind gusts and isolated significant gusts to 75 miles per hour, and isolated large hail events to 1.5 inches in diameter. So this is something we're going to continue to watch here. As far as impacts go, this is always interesting. 2.8 million people affected, 1.2 million homes, bunch of schools, colleges, child care centers. Interesting stats, if you will, but doesn't really mean a whole lot right now. So that is the tornado watch right now. That's going to be posted already to our Facebook page. It's going to post there automatically. So if you're in that tornado watch, yes, I would watch that weather. I would keep that Ohio News and Weather app handy on your phone if you don't have it. You know, it will alert you to anything that's coming. So keep that handy with you this evening. Have your normal, you know, kit ready as well. You know, if you need to take shelter, have all that stuff ready now. Don't wait till it happens or anything like that. So those are things to just do in the meantime. Just looking over some of the comments here. We've covered a lot of this stuff. I don't know why sirens went off in Salina. They do weird things with sirens. Sirens are terrible devices. Don't rely on sirens to wake you up either. They cannot sound. They may not wake you up. Very possible. You live in a trailer, you're in this area. I might want to have somewhere else to go tonight, but I might just keep an eye on things too. Just in case, if you have somewhere nearby you could go, it's not a bad idea, but tornado's not, or excuse me, a mobile home and a tornado isn't the best combination. It's kind of what we're looking at here. No, we are not all going to die. Don't get crazy there on YouTube. So what we're looking at right now, again, is that tornado watch for southwestern Ohio. That is pretty much where our severe weather threat is going to be for Ohio. Outside of that, it's really not looking too good for a severe weather threat. So don't expect to see severe weather right now outside of the tornado watch. It's possible you could see a severe storm or two, but not very likely. We don't speculate on tornado ratings, Lisa. I don't know what it is based on radar. No idea. We can't. Tornado ratings, the enhanced Fujita scale, is all based on damage. So if you've ever seen the movie Twister, right? 1996 thriller, Bill Paxton, Helen Hunt. Yeah, you know that one. They have a scene where they're at Aunt Meg's house and they're explaining the Fujita scale, and they talk about what does that mean? And they talk about how much the tornado eats is what they say. You can think of it that way. It's a bit morbid, but it's how much damage the tornado causes. So in order to determine the intensity of the tornado, it's actually got to damage something first. The difference between that movie and today, they used the original Fujita scale. We now have the enhanced Fujita scale. Is we look at a lot of things differently. We look at the degree of damage, what was damaged, how that structure was built, etc. Back then, they had much more basic things that they looked at and said, okay, yeah, this is what it was. We take construction into account. We take some other things into account that are now out there that weren't out there back in the 60s and 70s. When that was really researched and then developed. So we cannot really from radar tell what the intensity of a tornado was. Yeah, does it show wind? Great. Yeah, there's a wind component to the enhanced Fujita scale, but that wind component is derived from the damage done based on a whole litany of research and also things we've seen happen as well. So we don't get that from the radar. Actually, the enhanced Fujita scale doesn't use radar-derived winds to assign a rating to it. There's some nuances to that. There's people out there that argue that. You know, it might be used to help determine a little bit closer what the winds were when it damaged or destroyed the structure, because there may not be anything left. And if we go back and look at that structure, we may not be sure of the quality of the construction on it. So therefore, they will look at those things, but typically speaking, we don't go wind speed only on tornado ratings. It usually doesn't. They usually doesn't happen. It usually has to hit something. That's my piece on that. Somebody on YouTube asked, what was the tornado in the scene where the dude gets sucked out of the bunker door in the start? So that was Joe's father. And that was the beginning. Joe was the kid, that was her mom, and that was her dad. And you have to go later in the movie. Actually, it's the same scene I just talked about where they're talking about that, and Bill's girlfriend or fiance at the time, Melissa, asks, has anyone seen an F5? And that's when everybody kind of freezes and gets real dramatic. And then Bill says, only one of us. And then he looks up. And then the scene cuts to Joe in the shower. So that supposedly, the rating of that tornado was an F5. But that's the best I got. I'm a dork. Sorry, guys. I'm a dork. I'm going to go offline here on the audio because it's time for a quick battery change. Bear with me. All right, there we go. We're fresh for a little bit now. Okay, someone commented here, and I don't know where we're spreading these rumors from. Terry, I'm not sure where you're getting 174.4 miles per hour for the tornado in Indiana, possibly EF4 plus from. I have no idea. If you're getting that from radar, wonderful. Guess what? Throw it away. That's not how it works. So just stop spreading that type of stuff. Okay, one more time. We're posting cities, guys. How many times do we say don't post your cities and ask if you're going to die? Do not do it. We're not entertaining this. One more time. We're going to do this. If you're in the tornado watch, that's your threat for severe weather. I'm going to go just outside of that. We're going to draw. Big yellow box. This is Interstate 70. This is US 33. Excuse me, 23. US 23. 23, Interstate 70. If you are in here, guess what? You're in the tornado watch. That's probably where you're going to see some severe weather. Could see tornadoes, could see a couple other things. If you're just north of there, we could see some strong storms. If you're just east of there, you could see some strong storms. Maybe some severe weather here and there. Columbus, I wouldn't rule it out. They just decided not to include you in a tornado watch. It doesn't mean necessarily you're in the clear. That's just the weather doesn't follow geographical boundaries or political boundaries, I guess, for county lines. But so that's where it's at. If you are over here in northeastern Ohio, really not seeing a threat. If you're down in southeastern Ohio, you could see a couple storms later towards the morning, but very low threat of severe weather. Definitely not tornadic. It'd just be some damaging winds. If you're northwestern Ohio up here, not going to happen. Nope, you guys are done for the night. Go to sleep up there. That includes Toledo. So just that's where we're at. So if you could quit asking about everything, we've divided up and dissected Ohio multiple times now. I know some of you are just joining us, but that's where we're looking. Okay, that is where we're looking. Oh, you had some static. I'm sorry. Yeah, so I changed out the battery just a moment ago. So yeah, sometimes some things move around. My bad. Hopefully that did go away. Yeah, so Ryan Hall's not bad, but he does like to speculate on stuff. But again, we got to look at damage. That thing could be throwing trees up into the air. So you don't really know. Yeah, changed the battery, guys. Thank you for letting me know. And all that fun stuff. That's what happens. So hopefully it's better now. Is the audio good now, guys? Okay, the circle, if it's in the circle, right there, tornado watch down here. Dayton, Cincinnati, Chillicothe, Portsmouth, long west of US 23, south of Interstate 70. That's the best chance for severe weather. If you're northwestern Ohio, no severe weather. If you're northeastern Ohio, no severe weather. If you're down in southeastern Ohio, maybe a couple severe storms. If they hold up, it generally would be wind at that point. That's what we got. That's what we've covered. I'm going to end the live here shortly. One, I need a break. Two, we're repeating a lot of the same things. I do want to look here up towards the Lima area in Salina and St. Mary's. I don't know if we got a great radar on it here. Yeah, I guess we could use there out of northern Indiana. Some strong winds aloft. Nothing spinning, which is good. But this is starting to develop a little bit more. So we're going to continue to watch this through the next, say, couple hours here and see if this does decide it wants to continue developing. Because if it does, like we talked about earlier, downstream as we get into southwestern Ohio, that's where things could kind of come into play a little bit there. And so that's kind of what we were watching on the modeling. So kind of right now, just to draw it real quick here, we're just watching this area, right? Just those particular storms right in here. They are non-severe, but they could, as they continue kind of moving east-southeast-ish, develop. And that's just something we're going to have to kind of watch. Same here as well around the Dayton area. A lot of that's just rain and some general thunder. So we'll keep an eye on it, but that could impact a few things into the evening. We'll just kind of have to keep an eye on it. It may do nothing. It's not lowering temperatures at all, I can tell you that. Those temperatures haven't budged. Just a ton of tornado warnings here around Nashville, Indiana, a little south of Indianapolis there. Just so many. We have several of them kind of overlapping here right now, and our tornado observed is still there. That's a pretty long track tornado right there. It's all heading towards Camp Atterbury near Columbus, Indiana. Just gonna pull up velocity here. Yeah, there's some spin there for sure. There's our CC, so there's our tornado right there. Further south, we don't have anything lofting debris, but we do have some rotation there, Night Ridge, Indiana. Yep, okay. These are not gonna look like classic supercells. There's gonna be a lot of rain. They're gonna be wrapped in rain. You're not really gonna see anything. And yeah, there's that nice drop in reflectivity. So that's kind of where a tornado is. We can see all around it, it's rain. So you're not gonna see this thing coming. It's also dark out. So that's what kind of makes these overnight threats more concerning. Nashville, Indiana is under a tornado warning, but you're kind of split in tornado warnings. And honestly, the confirmed tornado is to the north and east. And then we also have another tornado warning that is radar indicated that goes until 10:45 p.m., about another 18 minutes roughly. That's right in here. You don't really see it too much on the rotation anymore. If we go to our derived product, it's right there along Indiana Route 46 is where we have some rotation. But we're not seeing debris being lofted. That's good. Nope, not seeing that at all. So this is something that's kind of probably more what we call a quasi-linear type setup. But this whole thing's one big crazy supercell. So this whole thing is likely spinning. So they can kind of happen just about anywhere along that leading edge or the flank line there. Where we could see some of that development. So that's really about anywhere. But technically Nashville is under the one tornado warning there. But that's gonna stay generally to their south and really just say south at this point. I don't even wanna say west, just kind of more to the south. There's some other warnings kind of being issued here and there too. Some of them are being updated. They're about ready to expire. So yeah, there's a bunch of little alarm bells going off for that, but okay, cool. So I hope that helps. We're gonna end the live stream for now, well, I'll keep an eye on things as long as I can through the overnight. I do have to get some sleep at some point here, so yeah, keep an eye on our page, keep our Ohio News and Weather app handy. For sure, and we'll do everything we can to keep you updated as well. You can go to our page as well, and you'll see any warnings or anything like that posted there as well, and that should help keep you updated too. But I'll do my best to keep you updated here through the evening. In the meantime, get some rest while you can as well. We'll talk to you guys later.